you're gonna look like a professor. You're gonna have like a twill blazer and like a pipe. And you're gonna be like, yes,
like a tweed jacket. We're gonna walk in and say things like "Indubitably." Yes, quite.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I wonder if William H. Macy knows that we don't want him to be a musician. Like, I wonder if we see, if he sees enough of us go, hey, just stick to acting. We get it. Your wife's in prison and you're trying to make extra money to make her bail, but we don't need this whiskey Dell bullshit. Like, get that shit out of here. And his fucking name's like Willie. Like, when he comes in and I watched the music video and he walks in and everyone goes, hey, Willie. And it's like a bunch of old grizzly dudes, and he sits down, he has a beard, and it's like, dude, you're in Shameless. Like, calm the fuck down.
I haven't seen it. It sounds...
I'll show you after this.
It sounds terrible.
Oh, and it like auto-tunes his voice.
Oh.
Let me tell you about a place called Whiskey Dale. And he has like a little mandolin, and he's doing this, and he's dressed all in black like Johnny Cash. I'm like, fuck you.
Well, did you hear about all that stuff that happened with Morgan Wallen?
Oh, fuck that guy, too.
Yeah. That's the guy I knocked over at Prez Pub.
You knocked him over?
Yes. Nobody knew. Like I had no idea who the fuck he was. This has been like 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
And he was at Prez Pub being a dick, and I was trying to get to the bathroom. So this is I mentioned this briefly in our previous news segment where I talked about Morgan Wallen's getting pulled from his record label, and he's already just had a bunch of strikes. He got like fired from Saturday Night Live because there's videos of him partying with tons of people, no mask, right before he's supposed to be on. I think they eventually offered him to come back. And then he got arrested at Kid Rock's bar in Nashville for public intoxication, whatever like that. And then this new thing where he's uttering all these racial slurs on a video. But and I don't know the context, and I just want to go ahead and say, I don't know that if he was actually shaming somebody that's a person of color, or I don't know, or if he was just joking with one of his friends. Not that necessarily makes it okay, but I don't want to pretend like I know the details of what he did, but I know the guy sucks.
Well, I mean, the way I see it, because there's people that I've brought up the story around me, and a lot of people have different opinions on it. Racial slurs shouldn't be in your vocabulary, period.
That's true.
Just period. Even
that
if you're
true.
joking, if you're chumming up with buddies, probably just cut those out of your vocabulary.
That is true. And I've tried to think about it a lot of different ways. I don't even know if I want to have this conversation publicly.
I'm too tired.
but I've actually I've called a bunch of my white friends racial slurs just in a comedic rap music, comedy type, black comedy type of a way. We were all raised on Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? There's man, I don't know. I don't know if you could even, in 2021, you can't even make an argument for context.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
You should just cut it out.
You really should. There's no defending it, and there certainly was never, ever a time for people, even privately, to be, privately racist. Even with their friends, maybe they're not out in the yard screaming at a black guy, but maybe they're just with a bunch of their bigoted white friends saying stupid shit then blah, blah, blah. And that was never okay. Never at all. The lines got blurred in the 80s and 90s when it became part of a comedic dialect. If you wanted to tell your friend about the skit you just saw, and even now, Dave Chappelle still has no problem doing it. And if I wanted to tell you, hey, did you see what Dave Chappelle said on Saturday Night Live? He said blah, blah, blah. Well, there you go. I'm not a racist, but I've quoted someone that was a comedian. And that's where the context used to be blurry. But I think in 2021, man, you can't even...
Well, it's even to the point now where I'm listening to rap songs and they drop racial slurs, and I just edit myself. I just don't say it.
Yeah.
I'll be singing along, and then I'll just stop or go, while they do this long, drawn out racial slur thing. I'm just and then back to the chorus. Okay, I know this part.
Yes, as a white dude, you just don't get to play with those toys.
Nope.
Those are not your toys. Those don't belong to you. That's for somebody else.
Those belong to Kendrick Lamar.
That's right. So and again, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm pretty sure whatever Morgan Wallen was saying, he was not celebrating the rich comedic culture of all of his black friends. I'm sure he was
He
probably.
doesn't look like a funny guy.
He's like a big didn't he win a Grammy or something? He's country music artist of the year or something.
All I know is that he probably sings about how his dog died, his girlfriend left him, his truck don't work, and he drinks Bud Light or Bud Light Lime. He probably drinks Bud Light Lime on the beach.
That's right. And if you play his records backwards, you get everything back.
Yeah.
The girlfriend comes back. You stop being an alcoholic. Like the truck starts again finally, and like
The dog comes back from Pet Cemetery.
Dog comes back to life. Anyway, so we hope Morgan Wallen gets his act together, or not. I don't care.
Yeah, the moment that somebody at the bar will be like, "Hey, like I know, like that guy over there, he's famous." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, what does he do?" He's a country singer. I'd be like, "Oh, then he's not famous. He's just pandering. He's just pandering to a bunch of college kids."
I mean, there's a lot of really stellar country artists. I'm just not convinced that he's one of them.
No.
But whatever. I also don't like Kenny Chesney, and I get a lot of shit for that too. Because you're supposed to like him because he's from Knoxville. And
no, fuck. I heard he's such a piece of shit.
I don't know if he's a piece of shit, but I know that there's so many pictures of him on the internet, like live in front of like 50,000 people, like playing a guitar that's not even plugged in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, just at some point, just don't wear the fucking guitar. Like,
yeah,
I'm not down. I don't get down with that, But and also that song about the tractor being sexy. God, that just makes me want to jump on Broken Glass.
Is Kenny Chesney the tractor sexy?
Yes,
really.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
I didn't know that.
And they say something about a jug of sweet tea and the way he pronounced it. Just it makes me want to drive the car off a cliff.
Nowadays is Stapleton. Like he's just got that bluesy sound to his voice.
He's unbelievable.
It's great to listen to him. Georgia Florida Line, not so much.
Not so much.
Not so much. It makes me want to drive up to the 6th floor of the Market Square Garage and just see if I can fly.
Give it a go. I'm a big fan of Brad Paisley and fucking Keith Urban, and
I'm more of a fan of a Jimmy Buffett for country.
White sport coat, pink crustacean.
Yeah, why not? Parrot head.
Allegedly, a guitar cable I made is in his studio.
Really?
Yeah, somebody took one there. Somebody that recorded there got one and took it there. I can't remember who. I'm brain dead. I've just worked a lot this week, but. Whoa, gang. Hey, how about some news before we get any further with the podcast here? This week, a massive elk herd stopped traffic in the Smoky Mountains. None of the elk were wearing masks. You can Google that. The Trump impeachment trial went down. It was the first time in history that a president has been impeached after leaving office, and he was not convicted. Instead, he was acquitted, to the chagrin of many people. Studies of fossilized Neanderthal crap revealed that their guts worked a lot the way ours do. Also, apparently scientists are growing small, mini Neanderthal brains in laboratories. Google it. This week, China, the U.S., and the United Arab Emirates all landed on Mars roughly at the same time, which constitutes one huge interstellar circle jerk. Larry Flint, the porn pioneer and publisher of Hustler magazine, dies at age 78. Another sad death, 23-time Grammy winner and total musical badass Chick Corea died of cancer at 79. This week in Fort Worth, Texas, icy roads led to a scary 133-car pileup with at least 6 dead and dozens more injured. And also, we will get to this in a future episode, but Mandalorian star Gina Carano fired for some tweets that she made, causing a huge internet pileup of either is it censorship, is it not? Stay tuned for discussions soon on Beacon House about that situation. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Talking about guitars not being plugged in, that reminded me of the Red Hot Chili Peppers halftime show, which reminded me last night was the Super Bowl.
Fuck yeah, it was.
Did you get a chance to watch the Weeknd's halftime show?
Not till about 5 o'clock in the morning when I got home.
It was not bad.
It was not bad, but in my opinion, it was not good either. It just...
Well, you got to understand COVID, so he couldn't have like a lot of... I'm sure he wanted a special guest, but he probably couldn't because you can't have all those extra people on stage.
Yeah, I get that. I just... I don't think there was anything wrong with the performance. I just don't really think there was anything right with it either. Like, I may be in the minority. And the memes are stellar. All the memes going around from
all the headdresses.
About everybody looked like they had underwear on their face, like jockstrap. That's funny. And about how like when he pretended to be lost in that maze and like everybody's like, this is me trying to like follow the server at Cheesecake Factory to the table, and various things like that. But I don't think that the performance was bad. It just didn't. I wouldn't call it top 10. For me, a lot of people thought it was unbelievable.
See, for me, my favorite is still Bruno Mars with special guest Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I think it was the fact that they just brought out the Chili Peppers out of nowhere and was like, "Hey guys, this band you loved in the '90s? I brought them back for Super Bowl halftime show."
Also, it's the Chili Peppers.
I mean,
and they throw down.
Yeah, and everybody gave a bunch of shit because they didn't plug their instruments.
Well, no, they took that on the chin. Like they actually addressed that in interviews. They said you're not allowed to you're playing to a track at Super Bowl, and they said so since we weren't allowed to actually play live, we decided to just lean into it and show everybody like this is totally us. Not that that's the most. I remember when that happened, and everybody was online. All the musicians were like, either they understand why it happened, or they were just shitting on them for it. But it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a Super Bowl. You can maybe run one mic and everything else is going to be recorded. That's just how they do sound there. You can't have 85 different, maybe a couple different mics.
Well, and also, they've been doing it for how many years? Like, they can do it if they want to phone it in one time.
And my whole thing about, what's his face, the Kenny Chesney, is he pretended to actually be playing at shows that people paid to go to. Like at, I just think
well, also fuck Kenny Chesney. He's just a piece of shit.
I don't want to go there, but you're possibly right. No, the Bruno Mars Chili Peppers one was just stunning. I think it's top 3 or 4, maybe. My top one is still Gaga. And I get a lot of shit for that because the unequivocally best Super Bowl performance, generally widely agreed upon, is Prince.
Prince was great.
Everybody today was posting memes of Prince at the Super Bowl saying, "Do you remember that time that they let the Super Bowl happen at a Prince concert?" I was like, I get it, but man, honestly, I just think, nobody's going to be greater than him. But I think Gaga worked harder in her show than anybody, not that I've ever even seen at Super Bowl, but anybody that maybe I've ever seen perform live.
Yeah.
It's the most exhausting thing to watch. And I watched it last night after the Weekend thing, and I was like, he could have worked a little harder. But my whole issue with the Weekend halftime show is it was just kind of him standing there in front of expensive backdrops, but he wasn't really doing I know he was singing, but he just didn't look like he was really trying. The show to me was not exciting, and to me, he's not iconic enough to just stand there and sing and carry a Super Bowl show.
Yeah.
To me, I love his music. I think his music's phenomenal. It's great, but
Blinding Lights is almost at 2 billion streams on Spotify.
It's a wonderful song. Wonderful song. Just somehow, I don't know. To me, just seeing him perform live just fell flat. I was like, okay, this is kind of, I don't know.
Weirdly enough, the entire time the Super Bowl halftime show was happening, I was trying to guess who the special guest was that was going to show up. Because normally, someone brings a guest. Last year, it was Jennifer Lopez and Shakira, which I thought sucked. The year before that was Justin Timberlake, and I didn't realize, the year before that was Maroon 5. And I think they brought in, I can't remember who they fucking brought in.
At one point, Beyonce and Bruno Mars showed up.
Yeah.
That was Coldplay, wasn't it?
I think that was Coldplay.
Okay. So there's a whole bunch of these that were okay, and they had some guests, but they just didn't stand out. I think those are maybe in the top 15, and I think the Weekend is in there somewhere, but not top 10 for me.
Did you know Bruno Mars's halftime show, 2014?
Was it really?
Yeah, it does not seem that far.
No, in fact, it was kind of the one that all the future ones were going to be compared to. It was the first one in recent years that I always go back to.
Yeah.
And then Gaga was after that, and I was like, whoa. And then there was Coldplay,
Justin Timberlake,
just
Maroon 5,
yeah.
But as I'm watching the Weekend's halftime show, we're over at a friend's house. We're watching the Super Bowl, and I'm like, "Who's it going to be? Who's the special guest going to be?" I was thinking, some people. Frying Pan was there. She said that she thought it was going to be Billie Eilish show up. That'd be pretty dope. I kind of thought maybe Run the Jewels would show up just to because they're so hot right now.
That would have been bad. Who had Missy Elliott come out? Somebody recently had Missy Elliott, and it slayed.
Oh shit! Who was
that? Timberlake?
No.
Somebody had Missy Elliott come out, and it fucking killed.
I'm going to have to look it up while I say this, but Savannah mentioned something, and we all got super excited and then super butthurt that it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
And she was like, what would happen if Daft Punk came out right now? Just like rose up out of the top of the stage and started doing their shit, because they have a bunch of songs with The Weeknd. And I was like, there's nothing else that would be like if they would win #1 Super Bowl halftime show if Daft Punk showed up to play with The Weeknd. It would make it 10 times better.
Maybe I would have been on board if they pulled somebody like Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa would have been dope.
She's freaking ridiculously talented. Do you see her on Saturday Night Live?
No.
If you haven't seen that, go YouTube it today. Let me give you two things.
Missy Elliott was Katy Perry's halftime show in 2015. It was the year after Bruno Mars, I think.
That sucks because all anybody remembers is Left Shark.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. That's blows, dude.
Left Shark is a vibe, for sure.
I think it is, too. Left Shark is wonderful. I love it so much. But Katy Perry's show was really awkward. A bunch of musicians that I admire really liked it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I liked Katy Perry's halftime show.
I like
she was
Katy
on the
Perry.
Tiger.
I like her, but I thought her halftime show was just a little... I don't know. There's something about it that was kind of stupid, but Missy Elliott was fucking crazy. That's usually what they do. They bring somebody out, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Missy Elliott, and like a lot of people said they thought for some reason Rage Against the Machine was going to come out during the Weeknd show.
That would have been legit.
And legitimize it. You know, just really like, all right, here you go for the people that are a little more serious, but nothing happened. I get why nothing happened. There's COVID and stuff. And I think the guy sang great.
Yeah.
I will say this. He sang the songs well. He performed them well. It just didn't really do a whole lot. I was kind of like, like I could take it or leave it.
You could tell everybody was trying to be 6 feet apart except the people with the underwear on their head because they're wearing masks.
Right. And I get that. But, what are you going to do?
I texted you and Hunter the other day because I'm back on night audit for a couple weeks until we find a replacement. And I pulled up my computer and I was like going through like all my saved websites that I have. And I was like, oh, masterclass. And I logged in and it pulled up my account. And it was like, auto renews in May. And I was like, holy fuck, I forgot I had a masterclass account. And so I've been sitting on this.
Yeah, because you talked about it.
I'm sitting on this $180 year-long masterclass, and I just haven't done shit with it for the last 4 months. And so I was like, okay, all right. So I sat down and watched some of Chris Voss's The Negotiator.
Phenomenal. Life-changing.
So knowing that Hunter won't listen to this episode because that's just how Hunter is.
You're going to use it on him?
I want to try mirroring him during an episode.
Dude, I don't know if I want to reveal too much of this. The pattern he does is the exact pattern that I use in job interviews. And you have to practice it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it'll sound, you got to get it to sound, and it should be natural. It shouldn't be fake. But to get it to roll off the tongue, and what he says is he goes, this way you'll learn a lot about people because it keeps them talking. But it's just good psychology. And sometimes people still will clam up. I'll go, well, what are you passionate about? And they go, and I went back to the video and I was like, what the fuck if they don't say anything? What if you do everything right? And he goes, trust the process. Because like it works. It's proven. FBI hostage negotiator. It's proven. And if somebody still doesn't want to talk about themselves after you do all these things, you should be suspicious.
Yeah. And it makes for a great conversation. What's weird is like talking about it because it seems like you're using like some sort of like manipulation but it's not that. No. It's an easy way to get somebody to open up.
Well, Chris Voss will tell you too. He'll say like in his book, he says, this is not about being deceptive. He goes, don't ever lie to somebody that you're not ready to kill.
Yeah.
Like if you're ready to go in and kick a door in and shoot somebody, then you can start lying to. He goes, but if you plan on having any kind of a relationship, business, personal, whatever, don't lie to him. Be honest. But just, this is how you talk to people. And he's fucking awesome. Yeah. But what else have you looked at any other?
There was just like...
Just imagine if you have all that masterclass, you're trying to use it up, you're gonna learn all the secrets of the universe.
Well, and what's great is masterclass because you pay $180, you can download the PDFs for their lesson. So you can like download the PDF and print out the lesson plan. And then go back and watch it and like fill out the lesson plan, take notes and things like that.
Are you shitting me? That sounds like fucking fun.
And then there's a community forum on his masterclass where you can talk to other people and be like, I didn't understand this part. And someone could be like, let me break it down for you. And like you can chat with people who are taking the same class.
I know the Chris Voss stuff takes like a lot of review and a lot of practice. Like at first it's like, what? But like, yeah, he's got a company called the Black Swan Group. And you can go and you can download like stuff in print, like the 3 personality types, which is the assertive, the accommodator, and then the analyst. And all the different personality types fall into one of those 3 categories. So if you're negotiating with somebody, or you've got to decide which one they are and what type of thing to do, like labeling and stuff. But he's really smart about it. He talks about how there's one great story he talks about where he went to buy a truck, a brand new, he has high on this red truck, and he wanted it so bad, and he just knew how much he wanted to get it for, and he did it. He went and got it.
He knew, I want to pay $10,000 for that, and I'm going to get it.
Yeah, and he did. And they were like, there's no way. And he's like, well, he talks how he did it. And finally they were like, okay, fine. I don't know how you did it, but you got it. He's like, hey, thanks, man. But it's good stuff. There's a bunch of great master classes that I've seen, like Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine has one. Mm-hmm. Dead Mouse. Yeah. The one Dead Mouse looks a lot of fun. Isn't there a writer-director guy that has one?
There's tons of them.
Several.
Ron Howard, I think, has one.
Yes.
Martin Scorsese, David Lynch, Neil Gaiman has one. R.L. Stein has one.
Holy shit.
There's Gordon Ramsay has 2.
Amazing. That's crazy. And like I said, that girl St. Vincent, the musician, she has one about songwriting. And even the commercial for it is very entertaining. She talks about, she goes, your first song lyric should say something that makes the listener go like, wait, what? Right at the beginning, you got to go. Just little things like that. Yeah. Anyway, but it looks, they say if you're going to learn stuff, learn from the masters.
Yeah. I agree. And I only have 3 months to just cram as much of that. Because I don't think I'm paying another $180.
Bro, by June, you're gonna look differently. You're gonna look like a professor. You're gonna have like a twill blazer and like a pipe, and you're gonna be like, yes,
like a tweed jacket. We're gonna walk in and say things like indubitably. Yes, quite. That scone was scrumptious.
That's the blur.
Yeah,
that was it. Indubitably. I'm going to call this episode Indubitably. Indubitably.
So we got a cool ass trailer in the Super Bowl, which
was it the new Godzilla trailer?
I didn't see that.
There's a new one where you see Godzilla punch Kong back.
Oh, really?
And knock him up. Yeah.
Okay. I know a lot of people have been tweeting and putting on Facebook that Godzilla can't lose. They're like, Godzilla can't lose. I was like, neither of them are going to lose. I know the trailer says one of them has to die. Yeah. It's actually not going to happen.
I predict that they're going to fight, and then they're going to realize there's something else, and they're going to team up to fight it together, and Kong's going to die.
Kong's going to sacrifice himself?
No, I think he's just going to get killed somehow.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
And I said this before. The only reason I think that is because that's probably going to be the biggest chance they have to film a sad death. But then again, who knows?
Who knows? And they might try to bring Kong back. Maybe you think he dies, and then in another couple movies he comes back. Did you go back and watch the trailer and see the Hollow Earth?
No.
So
was that in the new Kong trailer?
In the trailer, it's the original Kong versus Godzilla trailer.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Is that where he's swinging?
So there's these birds flying down at him, and he is attacking him, and then it shows him just standing there looking. But behind him, you see cave, you see mountains, but they're upside down above him.
I did not see.
And it's this massive hollow earth kind of thing where and then when the things are flying down at him, there's a blue glow on the ground, and if you pause it and look, that blue glow is the symbol of Godzilla. So what I predict is that he goes to the Hollow Earth, or they take Kong down there.
Yeah.
And that axe he has is part of Godzilla's spine that and that's why he can deflect the plasma beam with it, is because it's part of Godzilla's
This is getting so
spine.
crazy. I am so excited to see this.
And it comes out on HBO Max on my birthday.
On your birthday?
Oh,
close.
A couple days, yeah.
Okay.
Because I think they pushed it forward and then pushed it back a couple days. It was March 24th, and now it's March 31st.
Dude, I want to see it in the theater really bad.
I do too.
I'm willing to mask up. I'll spray myself down with Lysol. I don't give a fuck.
I'll wear a hazmat suit.
I want to see it. Shit. I want it to beat the shit out of me. I want the movie to just shake. I want Godzilla to be in the chair next to me.
Yeah.
Breathing plasma fire on me.
Godzilla versus King of Monsters, when we went to see that, we were in I was in the back row of the front section.
Yeah.
And all the IMAX screen was just in every peripheral of
so
my
exciting.
eyeballs. It was amazing.
Dude, yeah, I want to go, like when I want to go buy a popcorn and I want King Kong to serve it to me. I want all the monsters to be in the theater with me. That's what I want. But what trailer? Are you talking about the trailer for Old? The
That
Shyamalan?
one.
Okay, talk about that.
Now, a lot of people shit on Shyamalan like he's Shyamalan ding dong, or, he doesn't make
Guilty.
good movies.
I've been, well, I think he makes good movies. I just don't think I like them. But go on.
So this one's based off a graphic novel called Sandcastle, which was about like these people who are on a beach, and they show up and their children start rapidly aging.
And in our text message earlier, Hunter did not know that.
Hunter did not know.
Hunter
that,
was like, "Wait, it's about so talk about that."
which was funny because Hunter, like when I was like, "What are your thoughts on Old?" And I think Hunter's was like he was mediocre about it, and then I was like, "Well, it's based on a graphic novel," and he was like, "Oh, never mind. I want to see it." But so it's about a group of people that go on a beach and like they all start rapidly aging, and it's just kind of like
it should be called Florida.
Yeah. No, that's called Zika virus.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So from the trailer, it looks like, it's almost the exact same premise. There's things that happen in the trailer that happen in the graphic novel, and that's the part that got me was I watched it a few times. The first time I watched it, I was like, that looks interesting. The second time I watched it, I was like, this looks kind of stupid. There's not even really any famous people that I know in it. It's a bunch of like foreign actors, which is kind of odd. And then the third time I watched it, I started to kind of piece it together. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, the kid from Hereditary is in it. And at first, like, when they first arrive to the beach, he's like 9 years old. And then he comes around behind the rock. He's like, Mom, it's me. And she's like, that's my 9-year-old. And it's the kid with, like, the son from Hereditary. He's in it.
I will say this. I am super willing to, like, give this one a shot because just that premise of, like, people aging out of sync with things is to me, is so disassociative and, like, It gives me the same feeling that like the like Midsummer, like those type of movies. It's so weird that stuff is scary to me.
Yeah.
Like some of the M. Night Shyamalan movies, like the Village and stuff, I was like, nah. But the premise of this actually looks really intriguing to me. So I'm actually on board with this one.
And I will say from right now, anybody listening to this podcast, if you watch The Village because you thought it was going to be a horror movie and you hated it because it wasn't, that's because you don't understand that M. Night Shyamalan doesn't do just horror.
That was me.
So when you go to see Old, realize that Old is not supposed to be this jump scary horror movie. It's supposed to be this disturbing, creepy, uncomfortable, Hereditary-esque looking film where everything's just going to make your skin kind of crawl, but nothing's ever going to make you frightened.
And one thing, another, God, I sound like an idiot. I'm just like, today, I'm so tired. I've worked so much. I'm just like, another thing about it that I liked was that it was well lit.
Yeah.
Like it looked like you could actually see what was happening in it, and they weren't relying on like, I don't know, bad light. Yeah, just terrible set design and the fear of the dark to scare everybody. Like there's so many movies that are just dark.
Yeah.
And they're just not any fun to watch. You can't see what's happening, But it looked well lit. And that to me, that's a brave decision on the part of the director. It's like let's show everybody everything and let's just figure out things that are actually scary to show people rather than to try to make a movie scary by not lighting it very well,
Yeah. And and so the creepiest thing about the trailer, and I've talked to you about this, and I think that's like the moment I mentioned this in the text, Hunter was like, oh, I'm totally down because I didn't even see that, like, or recognize that. Is at the beginning of the trailer, there's like this 4-year-old girl, and she's wearing like a pink swimsuit. By the end of the trailer, there's a pregnant woman who looks very identical, like same curly hair, in a pink swimsuit who's pregnant on the beach. And I'm very certain, because I believe that happens in the graphic novel as well, where this 4-year-old rapidly ages and then all of a sudden becomes pregnant without having sex and immediately starts calling for her mom. And it's just like, and you just imagine being stuck on a beach with your child, and after an hour, she rapidly aged 20 years and is now giving birth on the beach.
I mean, that's insanity.
Like,
that's insanity.
It's so insane. Like, it makes my brain hurt.
Yeah, how would people even... Imagine if the people you knew did age that fast. Like, just think about that. Like, everybody you know has aged very slowly at the same rate you do. So you get used to seeing them. You don't really realize what they used to look like unless you go back and look at pictures.
Yeah.
Same with yourself or your parents. like your parents just look like the last time you saw them. But if you look at a picture from 30 years ago, you're like, whoa. But imagine if you had to get your head around all that in a couple of days or a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really know the people. It would be so weird, man. That's why I say it's so disassociative.
Like they jump in the water, sink underneath, and then come back out, and they're like
Different person.
Different person. They look completely aged.
Yeah. Oof, that's a lot. I think that's a great premise, man. I think he might knock this one out of the park.
Hope so.
I'm on board with this one.
I'm trying not to get myself overhyped. I did that with The Visit, and I ended up really liking The Visit because it was like a creepy ass movie. Split as well. I just try not to get my hopes up with M. Night anymore because some of his movies are such a fucking bomb that it's really hard not to. But yeah, I'm one of those suckers that pretty much likes every one of his movies except maybe one or two here and there.
I mean, that's how I'm that way with some people. I was that way with Cronenberg for a long time, but he's done a couple that are just kind of like David Lynch. Like when they're on fire, they're really on fire. Yeah. But then when they drop a turd, it still smells like a turd. Just like our guest Matt Wallen said, art can suck.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to say, I don't know if we've talked about this on here yet, but 30 Coins.
I need to start watching. I think I'm gonna start watching that tonight.
I think it's one of the scariest things I've seen in years.
It's biblically scary, is what you said, right?
It is, but it's hard to explain. Like it's a foreign film it's HBO Max, but it's like HBO Europe.
It's a film or is it a
series?
Okay.
It's a series, but it's European. They speak Spanish. It's subtitles. Don't worry, it's fine. And it's just the first episode will just. Dude, I was like, like I actually thought, and again, you may watch it and go, this is fucking stupid. Like a lot of people, that's like with The Conjuring, people are like, oh my God, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen. And I watched it, I was like, this is stupid. But so who knows how it's going to feel? But to me, like, I was like, I'm worried to go to bed. I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to have nightmares.
Yeah.
I really feel like as soon as I go to bed, I'm just going to dream about this episode. I'm just going to fuck me up. But just a lot of shit happens. But then different episodes have kind of different things. It's not all it's one story, but it has a lot of different dimensions. And it is biblical horror. Like it's set in modern times, but it's based on something that happened. Like, and there's no big secret. It's the guy that betrayed Jesus, Judas, was paid 30 silver coins for the betrayal. And this is about those 30 coins. Apparently, like now they've been lost down throughout history, and anybody that finds and collects all of them has this unbelievable power, even greater than the Ark of the Covenant. And people are the Vatican's in on it, and everybody's in it, and they're struggling to get it. And it all centers around this one bizarre little town, and just
it looks like there's one priest that's fighting back, like this bald
kind of. But
beard.
He also has a weird. He maybe isn't a good guy, and you don't know. And like he's got a fucked up past, and one of them they actually encountered the devil. And like he burned him real bad, and like fuck his friend. Dude, it's just crazy. And
it's only like 7 episodes too,
I guess. But they're like, I can't do more than one of them a night. Like I'm just like I think the new one comes out tonight. In fact,
they're still releasing.
Releasing.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, it's the second episode's about a Ouija board. It's a lot.
This might be a bold statement, but I think HBO Max might be the number one streaming service for me right now. Like, it's just got so much good shit on it.
I haven't perused a lot of it, but I mean, I think 30 Coins is fucking scary. Now, there are parts of it that are, like, it's, again, you got to remember it's European.
Yeah.
So the acting is not like American acting. Like,
right.
Some of it's extremely dramatic, almost like a I don't know,
soap opera,
like a telenovela or something like that. The acting is very extreme and like
es mío.
Yeah, es mío. But like you just got to kind of pay attention to what happened. And the actors in it are really good, and it's just dark, man. Like it's freaking scary. And the intro, did you watch the intro at all?
Yeah, I watched. You sent me the intro, and I was like,
yeah. And like, that's the intro to every episode. It just starts out with that. But yeah, if you're looking for something scary that's a little different, check out 30 Coins on HBO Max.
Also, season 2 of Servant is about halfway through right now. Have you heard about that?
No.
So it's the TV show M. Night Shyamalan is producing and helping with.
Okay.
And I think he's directing some of it. But it's about a lady who's like a family whose baby dies very early.
Yep.
And the wife is like almost like in this like devastated state, so they buy a fake baby. And so, like, the first episode is, like, her taking care of this baby, and then, like, at night she goes to bed, and the dad picks it up by the leg, and it's just, like, waddling around, and you're just like, what the fuck? And he's like, I hate this thing. Like, I should just...
Oh, and it's, you mean
it's
fake?
like fake.
It's not real.
It's a silicone fake baby, but they're real because, like, you find out the real baby died because she left it in a car or whatnot, you know. And they hire a nanny, and the nanny's super weird and creepy and, like, this, like, super religious girl. And by the end of the first episode, the dad's, like, cooking in the kitchen, and all of a sudden the baby monitor, like, comes awake, and you hear, like, a baby crying, and he, like, looks at it, and it cuts to black. And that's, like, the end of the first episode.
Holy
And you're like... What the fuck?
I'll check that out. There's also a baby thing that happens in the first episode of 30 Coins.
Yeah, you told me about it.
It's just, when I saw it, I was just like, I had to like I hit the space bar, and I got up and I was like,
There's been a couple of movies. Haunting a Hill House, episode 8, when Nell comes from behind like the backseat of the car. I had to pause it and like take a break.
This isn't even a jump scare. This is just like you see something and like. Like this lady goes, like something weird happens at the beginning. Like a baby shows up, but not by natural means.
Yeah,
and they're kind of somebody's taking care of this lady. Goes to check on it, but when she goes to check on it, it's kind of like the thing in the end. Like the aging process is going way faster than oh my god, and you see it, and it's fucked up, man. It's so fucked up.
I need to watch it. I also need to watch Chernobyl. See, there's so many good shows that HBO had. Period.
Chernobyl's. I tried, man. It's a lot. It's so serious.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you had a lot of time to really like sink into a show, which I never do, like Chernobyl would have been the one. And I watched about half of it, and it really is like it's kind of like Game of Thrones. It's this long, thick, with big payoff.
Very dense.
Very dense, but good. Very good.
Yeah. Well, I've always been fascinated with Pierre Pratt and Chernobyl, like the town that had to evacuate, and it's now like been overtaken by the environment.
It's amazing. It's amazing in the first episode where things start going wrong.
Yeah.
And you could see how they avoided the safety protocols, and a lot of guys are down there dealing with it, like near the reactor. And
I heard it gets pretty gross when you have to like deal with radiation poisoning and like how their like skin starts falling off. Like
some of it's like I wouldn't say it's the most gory thing, but some of it's like hard to watch. Especially sometimes they don't necessarily show it, but like a guy will get trapped in a room and you see the door getting shut off and he's just in there, and you know he's going to turn into bubbles or something. You know, like the gremlin in the microwave.
I did finish Lovecraft Country, and it was very meh for me.
Yeah, it was hit or miss.
Yeah.
There were certain parts of it that I was like, yeah, and then there are other parts I was like, eh.
The house fire episode was
fucking
super striking.
Loved it.
Cinematic was. I mean, they're dropping bombs on her, and she has that magic spell that protects her. I don't know. I just like by the end of it, I was just very meh. Like I was like,
it wasn't the greatest.
Like I got to I think 2 episodes from the end, and I was like, wrap this shit up, dude. I'm done. Like,
yeah.
I was like, you're not even doing Lovecraft anymore. You're doing like the fucking craft. Like you're doing fucking witches and stuff, and I'm not having it.
Yeah.
Not once did Cthulhu show up.
No
or
Cthulhu.
Dagon.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I felt the same way. I was like, yeah. It was entertaining, but it also was kind of, I think the thing about Lovecraft Country that kept me watching was production value.
Yeah.
Like it just looked so rich, and it was just the sets were really good, and it was pleasant to watch, but nothing that great happened, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta give it a B-, C+.
It's definitely not in my top 5 of favorite shows.
Me neither.
Yeah, there's so much. Westworld season 3, so I'm watch that.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. There's a lot. We're kind of getting near our time here, man.
Oh, welcome to the Beacon House podcast. I'm Casey.
And I'm Spence.
And we don't have Hunter here today, if you already figured that out.
Yeah, he just hasn't had anything to talk about yet.
Doing the fucking beginning 45 minutes in. This whole podcast was just an intro.
That's right. So, yeah, welcome to the Beacon House podcast, and goodbye from the Beacon House podcast. Suck it.
Oh, fuck.